Hey guys, welcome back to the layout. Since everybody's pretty much on lockdown in these next 2 weeks, I figured I'd do a quick layout update, kind of show you guys what I've been working on. So I kind of want to jump over to Workbench real quick. I don't really show much of these projects. I kind of show the finished product here. So I have a Topeka cab, Jeep 7 Santa Fe. Now these colors aren't right. I was just kind of using what I had, and I was kind of trying to make a little quick match. But I'm painting it as if it was a CV. Um, one of the Jeep 9 rebuilds they did. So they had a Jeep 38 cab and a Jeep 9 body, obviously. Now the nose is obviously a little different, but I'm not trying to do a ton of work to this thing, so I want to kind of keep it simple. And like I said, obviously the colors aren't right. I was just kind of screwing around with what I had, so I'm gonna have to go buy some new colors and come back and kind of redo it. But I want to see how it was gonna look ahead of time before I even went any farther with it. But I did strip the engine down. I filled in all the little holes from the Santa Fe stuff, and yeah, so it'll look pretty good when it's all done. But this is kind of what I'm working on right now for the time being. You guys can see all the parts and everything over here I have of it. So this is something that I'm currently in the process of doing. Other than that, I really haven't gotten much done on the layout, just because buying supplies and stuff. I really don't want to go outside too much right now and everything. Just trying to minimize what's going on outside. But I can show you guys the finished farm scene now, and I do have a little bit more with operations done. I did get all the car cars done. That was huge. So we are fully operational with the layout. There's only a couple of cars I still have to figure out points of origin on, do a little more research. Not that I'm super nitpicky about where all these things go, but I like to look at it as if the layer's a little more uniform. So, like the one train I have here for the Boston to Maine, which is the 4301 train. Again, is a local that worked in Berlin, New Hampshire, one of the paper mills. I just this train symbol I picked for this particular layout, but it's basically like a lumber train, so it has pulpwood on it. You guys can see here, so pulpwood to the right here, and then the empty ones to the left, and then it has either box cars or wood chip cars come down. They'll kind of swap out with each other. So that's something that I added to have the Boston Maine list layout. So I'm trying to do a little more research on that and see what type of power and everything else. And then I sent out the Jeep 9 and the Jeep 7 I have, and one of the Rapido RS18s to get Keep Alive and some seed matching done to them. I'm not real great with the DCC aspect of things, so it's the one thing I kind of fall a little short with. But I found some great people that do a lot of good work for that type of stuff. So if you guys don't know, definitely check this guy out, Arthur Bradley at Bradley DCC. He's a whiz when it comes to this type of stuff. He's done a lot of great stuff for me personally. So like the Lamoille Valley engines, for instance, the blue beacons and the headlights and everything on those are all done by him. Now the beacons I got from somebody else, they were pre-dyed so they can actually be see-through and actually light. There's actually another guy that does custom work too, Mike McNamara of South Jersey Workshop. I don't know right now if he's still doing some work with that, but if you look up South Jersey Workshop, I think it is, he'll kind of push you right direction. He does Lamoille Valley engines and I think he's done some NH&V stuff and some Conway Scenic stuff as well. But you definitely take a look at his stuff too. I usually use Arthur just because he's pretty quick at getting things in and out. Like I sent the engines to him last week. They're already back in the mail to me this week. So they'll be here Monday. Maybe I'll do a quick update with those. But he did some installs with some upgrades with the sound and everything, like installing good Sugar Q speakers and everything. So those will be kind of cool to see. I know he's a pretty popular guy out there, but I don't know if a lot of people really know him. But yeah, definitely check him out. I know it takes him a long time to get to projects because he's just so busy. But I mean, the stuff he does is insane. Like he does a fantastic job. He did a lot of my fleet down here for reprogramming to the full throttle stuff. So that was huge. And I mean, it just makes the operational difference if that's what you're into. Yeah, so other than that, guys, I really haven't done too much to the layout. Kind of taking a quick tour over here. See the farm scene here. So the total overview of it. You guys can see I kind of like I said, I wanted to keep everything kind of hidden essentially. Like you really can't see the creek or anything that's there. you know, the idea is that you have to walk up and take a look in the scene to see things. So that was the idea I really wanted to go with. And then we have this stuff over here, and then a nice little area over here. I'll try and shoot over here for 1 second to kind of show you guys. Let me just fold the tripod up here. Sorry for the shakiness. You guys can see a little detail on the tracks there and everything. Again, that's not something you're going to necessarily see unless you're here in person and looking over. But that was huge. Oh, and I will mention the. So I did say last time, I think I was talking about the Lamoille Valley roundhouse. I was trying to like redo it almost. Let me just set the tripod up here again. So I kind of wanted to have it essentially work a little bit more for the aesthetics of the railroad. Since I had the issue being that I run the CP and Boston to Maine over the Lamoille Valley trackage a lot of the times, in the main line at least. I wanted to be able to incorporate it so that the building didn't look like it was a railroad building of a different railroad, because there was never any point that, to my knowledge, that the Boston to Maine or CP ran over the Lamoille Valley. So if it did, yeah, you could kind of get away with it in certain aspects, but to me, I wanted to kind of have it so that the Lamoille Valley was a sealed entity. So I'll show you guys. I have it all mocked up here and everything, but I was able to essentially fit 4 engines inside and the caboose in the middle by doing some pretty neat things here. So these are just the garage doors I have. I'm gonna throw them down here for right now. But you guys can see I had a switch, did redo the floor and everything. And we were able to have the caboose go in. And I'll have 2 engines to the left, 2 engines to the right. So that's the current roster in 1982 going into 83, which is kind of around the time I modeled. The 7002 at this point was pretty much decommissioned after derailment or accident, whatever you want to call it. I have some pictures of it. It's pretty interesting. But so you had 7801, 7803, 7004, and 7005 left in Lamoille Valley, and the caboose obviously. So I was able to get all of that in here. And my idea is I'm going to actually take little nano magnets for these doors, and in here, and I'll be able to put the doors that they're magnetized, so I can take the doors away. So in an op session, like this, to say this is the ready track here, I have the caboose and the engines pre-staged, one door open, and then, you know, for photos and everything around the layout, the idea is I could seal the Lamoille Valley completely. So this way, if you took a photo of it or something, it looked like the building's like a warehouse or something. So that's just my thinking. You know, because I can never essentially take a photo over here of a CP B&M train on this section of the railroad, or from the other section of the railroad looking this way. So that kind of freed up that to happen. That's the only reason I did it. And plus, the other roundhouse I had too was like a very small mock-up. This one's going to be the actual, you know, the roundhouse. So it has the huge length to it, like the real thing and everything. So that's kind of what I'm going to do with this. So, but again, that's still a work in progress. And like I said, I'm not trying to go to the hobby shop and stuff. I don't even know if they're really open at this point. I haven't really checked. I'm not trying to go out and see or catch this virus. So, but this is kind of what I'm working with here. So I'm using what I have, and I've gotten to this point. I think it's pretty good. So some things had to change, like the fuel tank had to go to the other side, whereas, you know, the Proteg was on the right, but I'm not so concerned about that. I think it's a lot better having it this way, you know, where I can have the freedom to take photos and stuff on the layout where I want to, and, you know, an op session makes it a little easier. So the other thing that I want to do with making this larger is that dust doesn't get collect too much on the models, which is a nice thing. I had to constantly worry about that with the Newport side over here because everything's out, but it happens. So it's one of the trade-offs you have to make. But I did not get in touch with the trackside, I think it's trackside scenery, yet. I'm going to do that hopefully in the next coming weeks to start the backdrop process. So that'll be the next big thing I'm planning on doing, and we'll get that finished. And this section will have a nice backdrop to it. And yeah, so that's kind of what we've been up to, guys. I want to keep this kind of short. I do have some train running videos I've been making, so bear with me there. If there's any particular like thing you guys want to see, a particular train go by or something, let me know, please. I'll try and shoot a quick video or something on it. Maybe even make a rail fanning series, something like Mike Confalone did. I don't know what I'm doing with video editing software, but I can try and shoot some stuff together, maybe a couple parts, and you know, as if you're the rail fan and maybe with the guys working or something like that. Again, I don't really plan on having an op session soon either because of this. So it's kind of like another deterrent here, but we'll figure it out. So anyway, guys, stay tuned for some more run body videos and stuff, and you know, stay safe.